Or new sweet and tangy sesame glaze on 100% seasoned white meat chicken strips. Or new sweet and tangy sesame glaze on 100% seasoned white meat chicken strips. Or new sweet sesame glaze on juicy. I'm clearly not the boss here, but with the DQ sauced and tossed chicken strip basket, I'm the sauce boss.
Eyes closed.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
DQ. Happy tastes good.
I'm the sauce boss.
Hey guys, Metal Jesus here, and today I am back with my reaction and impressions of the new Nintendo E3 Direct. I just got done watching that, and I have to say, overall, I was very impressed. There are a lot of games I plan on picking up day one, so I thought I would share my thoughts of what I saw and also get some feedback from you guys. And then at the end of this video, I also want to talk really quickly about some of the disappointments, some of the things that Nintendo didn't talk about that I was kind of hoping for. And I'm going to start off by saying that it was kind of mind-blowing to hear them talk about how the Nintendo Switch is now 5 years old. Man, how time flies. Honestly, it feels to me like about 3 years old. It doesn't feel like 5 years old. So that was really cool to hear. After that, I gotta be honest, it kind of started sort of meh for me. I'm not a big fighting game fan, and when they started announcing the Tekken character in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, I gotta be honest, I was just kind of at that point just checking my phone. I wasn't super interested in that. I know I am in the minority there. I know that Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is very popular, and obviously Tekken is, but I'm more of a casual fighting game fan. Casual would be an understatement. Also, the announcement of Life is Strange Remastered and also True Colors. Again, I was kind of like, I get it. I mean, a lot of people want to be able to play these games portably, and that's what the Switch does really well. For me, though, I played and beat the original Life is Strange, and I liked it, but I don't know if I loved it, and so I've kind of fell off a little bit on the series. Also, they had the announcement of Guardians of the Galaxy coming to Switch. Again, a game I am interested in, but I don't know if I would necessarily play it on the Switch. However, my ears perked up when they announced Super Monkey Ball was coming to the Switch. Now, I love the Super Monkey Ball series. I know there's been a lot of them on a lot of different systems, but it's one of those games where I'll come back to time and time again, and it looks like this is going to be a remaster of some early ones. And so that's probably a game I'm going to pick up when it comes out. I already have a bunch of these games in my collection, but again, to go back and play them yet again is going to be something that I know I'm going to do, so why even fight it? The next announcement that got my attention is a brand new 2D old school style Metroid game called Metroid Dread. Now, initially when I saw this, I was like, that looks an awful lot like the 3DS game we got a couple years ago. And I'll be honest with you, Metroid Samus Returns was a game that ultimately kind of left me a bit disappointed because I wasn't a real big fan of the aiming in that, and also the way that there was this mechanic where you countered, and I never quite found that to be very fun. And so when I saw this, I was like, this is cool that we're getting a 2D Metroid game, but I don't know if I'm going to like this one, until I watched the developer commentary that came after the Direct. And in there, they talk about that, yes, this is the same developer that worked on the 3DS game. However, they are refining some of the gameplay mechanics that people were kind of like not huge fans of, like me. So they're working on a better counter ability, which I was like, okay, now you have my attention. That sounds pretty cool. Plus, it looks like they are going to be introducing a lot of stealth elements here. I guess there are some enemies that Samus cannot defeat initially, and so she needs to either avoid or outrun them, and so she has the ability to use this cloak to make her invisible. Also, it looks like the sound that she makes is going to be very important because the enemy can pick up on it, and then, again, it triggers her having to run for her life. So all of these things combined actually sound really great to me. This game is going to be coming out on October 8th, and I am now very excited for it. Also, there are going to be 2 new amiibos for it as well. I have the previous one, so I'm probably going to be picking up those. The next game that caught my interest is Cruisin Blast. This is a game I had not heard of before, and I guess it was a brand new Cruisin arcade racing game that was actually released in arcades back in 2017. And now this is going to be the first time that they're going to be bringing it to consoles. It is going to be exclusive to the Switch. And I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. The thing is that I haven't been going to arcades in the last couple of years, and or at least I don't think I've seen this one before. So this was a total surprise. Again, I love arcade racing games. I love the Cruisin series. So yeah, I'm going to pick this one up. This looks awesome. Then they showed us a little bit more of Mario Golf Super Rush. This is a game that's coming out very soon on the Nintendo Switch, and I had already planned on picking it up. I love these kind of arcade golfing games, and I love the premise here where I guess it's in some modes that you are going to be chasing after your golf ball and trying to beat the other golfers, which is a gameplay mechanic that sounds so much fun. That's the thing about these Mario Golf games, is that they're just a ton of fun, and I love them a lot. I like them just as much as the Hot Shots Golf series. I kind of equate them very similar, but again, I like how Nintendo puts even more craziness and wackiness into these Mario Golf games. So this is going to be a day one purchase for me. Next up, another pleasant surprise is Warioware Get It Together. So this is a brand new WarioWare game coming on September 10th. And if you're not familiar with these games, they're basically micro games that last just a couple seconds. They're fast. You have to figure out the gameplay mechanic really quickly. They are super fun. And I guess what they're introducing in this one is 2-player co-op support. So you're gonna be able to play with other people. Again, another game that I'm gonna be picking up. I love all of these games. They're stupid fun. Then we got the announcement of a brand new Shin Megami Tensei game. This is the 5th game in the series, and I was trying to think back, and I guess the last Shin Megami Tensei game came out on the 3DS, so it's been a little bit of time there. I really like this series. I've been collecting it since the PlayStation 2. The first thing that always comes to mind for me is just the amazing visuals. I love the visual style of these games. They're JRPGs, if you haven't heard of these before. I'm sure many of you have. And the whole premise here is that you battle demons, And what's cool about it is that sometimes you get the ability to talk to them while in battle. And in doing so, you can try to convince them to join your party. And then when these demons are part of your party, then you can level them up. Then you can also fuse them with other demons in your party to create new ones, very unique ones. It's a really cool premise. These games are very awesome. So again, another game I'm probably going to pick up when it comes out on November 12th. Here's another game I was really surprised to see them announce. That is Fatal Frame Maiden of Black Water. Now, I didn't play it when it came out on the Wii U because in North America, we only got the digital version of this game. I guess in other territories, they did get the physical version of it. But I really like the Fatal Frame series. It's a survival horror series where you have this camera, and essentially what you do is you take photos of ghosts and undead things and stun them and damage them and things like that. It's they're usually really weird, really creepy, just really unique games. I've definitely enjoyed the first three. I haven't played this one, like I said. Now, the deal with this, though, is that when it came out, it didn't get great reviews. And from what I can see, it's primarily because the performance of the game wasn't great and there were some control issues. So I'm kind of hoping that they'll fix those when they bring it to the Switch, but I'm definitely interested in it. Here is another announcement that I just did not see coming, although I'm super happy to see it. That, of course, is Advance Wars 1 and 2 Reboot coming to the Nintendo Switch. Now, when I first got my Game Boy Advance way back in the day, I played so much of Advance Wars on it. I played dozens and dozens of hours into that game. Just super fun, turn-based tactical game, very accessible for people who maybe aren't used to these kind of games and kind of want to jump in and don't want to necessarily feel overwhelmed. Plus, the graphical style has always been really, again, just kind of accessible. And so what I like about this is, it sounds like they're bringing...
You know what I hate about Subway? The stink. I hate the smell of Subway. Who likes that smell? Why does every Subway stink the same? My least favorite part about a Subway is the way Subway stinks. It smells like raw meat and cookies on a stranger's foot. Today we're making a sandwich at Subway. If you have a friend that calls Subway Subways, slap them in the face for me. Whatever happened to that big fat guy that lost all his weight eating Subway sandwiches? Jared. I'll Google him myself after this. I want you to go to Subway, get the meatball sandwich, take 2.
Bringing the first two back, and also they're updating the graphics, and the graphics look pretty cool. I mean, to my eye, they almost look kind of toy-like. So that's a pretty cool graphical upgrade. So again, this is going to be a day one purchase for me. I can't wait to jump in. I think the last Advance Wars game came out on the DS, so it's been a while. And then Nintendo jumped all in on the Legend of Zelda series, first talking about Skyward Sword HD. So that's already been announced, and that's coming very soon for the Nintendo Switch. You know, not a lot of people's favorite Zelda game, but it sounds like that they're doing a lot of things to make it kind of updated and more accessible this time, specifically giving people multiple control options depending on how you prefer to play the game, which is great. I don't know if I'm necessarily going to pick this one up or not. I say that, and of course I probably will, but, you know, I don't know. We'll have to sort of see with this one, but it's cool that they are bringing it back and upgrading it, or at least updating it. But the really cool announcement was this 35th anniversary Game & Watch edition to celebrate Zelda. So in this, they're going to have 4 games. It's going to have the original Legend of Zelda, also Zelda 2, the Game Boy Link's Awakening, and then also this, I guess it might be an original game called Vermin. So it's done in that very traditional old school kind of Game & Watch style. But this... yeah, this is gonna be something that I think a lot of people will want, myself included. I really hope that Nintendo makes a bunch of these, because this is just super cool. I love how Nintendo is keeping these Game & Watch games alive, you know? It's so cool that they're doing that, and this was a total surprise, so I'm very happy to see this. And then finally, they showed a little bit more of the sequel to Breath of the Wild, and this is kind of a mixed bag for me, because I hate to admit it, but you know, I liked Breath of the Wild, but I didn't love it like a lot of other people did. And I know I'm in the minority there. I know people are rolling their eyes, but it just didn't grab me quite as much as other people did. And so, you know, I'm cautiously optimistic about the sequel. Here's the thing, you know, you never count Nintendo out. They're always gonna do amazing things, and I will always give a new game of theirs, you know, a shot. And so it'll be interesting to see what they do with it. They always do, like I said, do creative, interesting things with their Zelda games. So I don't know. We'll have to see how this one turns out. But I know a lot of people are really excited about it, and they announced that it's going to be coming out next year in 2022, which rolls into a little bit of some of my disappointments or things that I was hoping that they would announce. And that is, of course, a lot of people, myself included, are looking forward to a Switch Pro or a new version of the Switch that might be 4K or more powerful.
What's
and
up, Sam?
the reason why I bring that up now is because here's my thought. I think Nintendo is planning on using the sequel to Breath of the Wild to push sales of the next Switch. That makes sense to me. Because if you think about it, there's gonna be a lot of people who are gonna be like, I don't really care about 4K graphics. I just think that the current Switch is fine just as is. But if in the fall they announce that, hey, by the way, if you want the best experience with the next Breath of the Wild game, you're gonna want to get it on the Switch Pro or whatever they end up calling that. You know, they're probably gonna say, yes, it'll run on the previous original Switch, but if you want better performance, you do want slightly better graphics or higher resolution, you're gonna want to get it with the new improved Switch. And suddenly a lot of people who are kind of on the fence are gonna be like, they're gonna want the next version of that. So my guess is that Nintendo is probably going to do that. I mean, it would just make sense, and I think that would, again, push a lot of people to jump onto the new hardware. The other thing I was a little bit bummed not hearing about, and that is any additional news about Metroid Prime 4. Now, I feel like I'm being a little greedy there because obviously we got a new Metroid game, a new 2D Metroid game, but I am really looking forward to the next Metroid Prime game. I know they had to switch developers midway, and so it's probably not in a state that they are wanting to show, but I don't care. Like I said, I'm kind of being greedy here. I would have loved to seen anything about that. It's a game that I'm definitely looking forward to.
Was like an
but I would love to know down in the comments what you thought of Nintendo's E3 Direct. What are the games that...
I thought this was like a T2 thing. Like, look what you made me do. Ah!
Wait, have you actually really never seen Terminator 2?
I have never seen Terminator 2. I know the LA River scene. I know so many scenes just because it's like so in the zeitgeist.
It's one of the best written films ever.
My favorite scene from Terminator 2 is when Arnold Schwarzenegger tries to smile.
Maybe you could practice in front of a mirror or something.
This movie came out July 3rd, 1991. In a couple months, this movie will turn 30. This was a very revolutionary visual effects film. I know ILM was hot off the heels of The Abyss just before going into Jurassic Park. This was a testing ground for a lot of new technology.
A few months ago, you guys tackled Tron. That was 40 years ago, right? And I would say like the challenge they faced back in the day 40 years ago was just rendering that stuff out. And so by today's standards, everything can render at this point. And so now we're going to a film that's 30 years ago. Theoretically, you're like, oh, well, this is gonna be kind of easy. All of the T-1000 shots where he's just like hanging out and chrome looking, that's kind of a piece of cake. I don't see that as a challenge at all. The challenging stuff in this film are the complexity of the animations now. It's no longer just like a rendering thing. We have liquid, we have like morphing, we have shape-shifting, we have these really complicated animation sequences that make this something that just having a better computer doesn't necessarily make this easier to do.
So the shot that really sticks out to me is the moment when the T-1000 approaches the jail bars and like it's nothing, just slips through them. That little touch of just having his gun stuck really drives home that he went through these bars, but that's not normal, you know?
Yeah, it grounds it in reality.
Exactly. There's a couple things going on. One, he approaches it in the previous shot and gets right up next to the bars. And then it cuts away, then it cuts back to him in this static shot where I think there's a few different elements. One, we have the background behind the bars. Two, we have Robert Patrick playing T-1000 right here behind. Three, the jail bars. And I think they're three separate. And what that is basically taking the image from the camera and then projecting it onto a 3D model replica of Patrick Stewart. That's not his name, Patrick. Robert Patrick.
This is hard to do.
I bet we can probably do this.
Oh, we can totally do this.
I want to see if we can recreate exactly how they did this using modern methods. So what if you were to do this fully CG and I was to do it with camera mapping?
Let's do it.
And so that way we can sit down and actually compare the pros and cons of each effect, because these days, they would just do your method.
Yep.
They've abandoned the old ways.
Doing 3D scanning is going to be faster. I'd be willing to bet that I'm going to finish this before you.
But which one will look more real in the end?
Guess we'll have to find out.
You know, thinking about how they did all this stuff, like way back in the day, it's like it had to have taken forever. But these days, not only do we have more modern software, we also have modern, efficient hardware, like this Loop Deck CT, and I'm gonna tell you about it because it's our sponsor for the day. If you're creative and you wanna get more into using some workflow here, we got links in the description to the jail bar cells. They had to use this software that they made called Make Sticky. That's what they called it.
The software was originally called Make Me Sticky, but I guess people didn't like that, so they changed the name to Make Sticky. Make Sticky, not Make Sticky. That's an item at McDonald's you can only get after 2 a.m.
Basically, when you have a 3D model, you have a bunch of different points. They're called vertices.
A cube has 8 vertices. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
So he's describing this process of basically taking the vertices of the model and gluing it to a texture. So as that vertex moves, the texture moves with it. He's literally describing UVW mapping before that was even a thing.
This technology didn't even exist. They were literally like, oh yeah, we had to code that from scratch. The artists were also developers at that time. There was no separation between them.
In fact, T2 was the first movie at ILM. They specifically hired a coder, a developer, to make the tools full time so that the artists could just focus on the art rather than also developing the tools.
It's complex stuff. You know, there aren't tools that are directly built for this exact effect. You know, because it's such a strange and niche effect.
So we're trying to actually replicate the shot, and with that we wanted to replicate the field of view of the camera.
So I basically fed an image of the original shot into this program called FSpy, which is super cool. Basically, you give it some straight lines in your scene, and then it calculates the focal length of the shot, and then you can bring that information into a 3D package like Blender, which I did here, and use that to model things within the scene to match the shot. And so I used that to make the jail bars.
We're not going to build the bars practically, because what this shot is missing in the original is proper reflections and lighting from him actually passing through it. So technically, our shot should be more realistic in that regard. The goal is to kind of recreate the original shot as close as we can. Obviously, we don't have the same location. We're not going to have the windows with the grates and the light coming through that. Obviously, I'm not as handsome as Sir Patrick Stewart, but we're going to try to recreate the lighting. So the edge light and the key light are going to be in the same spot. We're going to recreate the camera angle. We're going to digitally recreate the jail bars. So for that to really all work, there's 2 other things we got to do for the VFX side of things. One, we're going to get a nice custom HDRI.
Let's grab one of these.
So this is the old school method.
The way they would have done it back then, you can just take a picture of a chrome ball and extract a 360 image from it. And it became standard kit at ILM for decades to come. Yeah, and we don't really do that anymore. I'm just taking manual pictures at different exposures. So I took one at -4 stops. I just took one at -3.5. I'm gonna take another at -3. I'm just gonna keep doing that until I've got like a dozen different photos at different exposures. And in Photoshop, I'll combine them together into a single HDRI.
So for my version, which is the full CGI version, you have to get an intensely high resolution 3D scan of Ren's noggin. And that's going to entail just having Ren super still while I go around him with the DSLR.
Taking manual pictures at different exposures. So I took one at -4 stops. I just took one at -3.5. I'm gonna take another at -3. I'm just gonna keep doing that until I've got like a dozen different photos at different exposures. And in Photoshop, I'll combine them together into a single HDRI.
So for my version, which is the full CGI version, you have to get an intensely high resolution 3D scan of Ren's noggin. And that's going to entail just having Ren super still while I go around him with the DSLR taking hundreds of pictures of every little nook and cranny and pore and pimple he's got. And then I'm going to feed that to a computer algorithm which uses it to reconstruct the 3D objects that you're taking a picture of.
Since you're doing the full scan, you can make me do whatever you want.
Oh yeah, exactly. I can make you do whatever I want.
I think Peter is chewing off a very big bite here. Biting off a big bite to chew. Whatever analogy works best here, insert that. Peter is a big bite to chew. You are going to try to keep the entire part of me CG, and that comes with all of the uphill battles the entire industry has faced for decades in trying to render a photorealistic face.
Here's the thing though, many of those challenges come from trying to move the face, stretch the skin, animate the expressions, but if you just have a still expression, like in this shot, you only need to get the reflections in the subsurf and the hair looking right, and then the computer does the rest of the work.
Whereas, the way I intend to do the shot is going to have all of that baked in. He has to do all of the work to catch up to that point.
You're going to have to do more manual tweaking than I am. I feel like I'm sidestepping all of that manual work and just letting the computer do everything.
And I think that's exactly why most Terminator movies since then have just gone that route.
Yeah.
Like the last couple Terminator movies that came out, pretty much anytime you see any sort of like transformation or whatever, everything about that person or that character is computer generated, including like basically the final finished person. But if you have a low budget or really old, you would do it with the method I'm trying.
If you're really old.
I mean, think about it. The people working on like T2 are like ancient now. They're like grandfathers. I am genuinely curious how this is going to go down. This is a real, actual investigation between us right now into the old ways of the old guard and the new ways of the new guard. So step 1 was to get the plate of us actually trying to mimic the original T2 jail bar scene. Filmed the plates, looked all good. I imported all that into Cinema 4D, used it as a background layer, but also we need a photo scan of me for the 3D model interaction. They did that back in the day. They had an actual laser scan of his entire head that they used to actually do all the morphing with. And I'm basically going to be doing the same thing today, except I'll be using Peter's photo scan of me, but I'm only going to be using the geometry and not the textures, because I will be using my own textures from the footage, so that the 3D model matches the real world version of me. And that's where this next step comes in, called camera mapping. Now, I essentially just map up the camera here, line up the model, and then I just take this image and project projected onto the geometry. But the problem is that when the geometry moves, the projection doesn't move with it. So we need a way to basically stick it to it. And this is the part that has eluded me for a very long time, and it's embarrassingly simple. All you do is right-click on your material tag, go down to generate UVW coordinates, boom, done. Now that I've done that, I can actually move this guy around. It's me, but it's textured with the actual texture from the background image. The moment I start whipping it around to the other side, it doesn't look real anymore. Look, it's because it's actually duplicating the texture on the back side of it. Now that I literally know it was as simple as hitting generate UVW coordinates, I can literally open my customized commands, and I'm gonna label that as generate new UVWs. I have now mapped that to my loop deck, as easy as that. So now anytime I want to do a projection thing, I can literally like hit the button and I'm good to go. Yeah, so the effect I've actually been trying to get to is how do I distort this mesh here? I can use the grab tool and literally just grab my nose here. Oh man. I can now back this through the poles here. You notice how the jail bars are actually interacting with my face exactly how it would with real geometry. That's the magic of this method. But the challenge I have now is correctly deforming the model as I go through the bars here. I actually gotta do the distortion of it frame by frame, and then it's a matter of rendering it out and then recompositing it so that it meshes with the original footage flawlessly. Not gonna lie, this has been a little on the stressful side, and I needed some inspiration. I was about to give up. That is until...
諦めんなお前どうしてそこでやめるんだそこでもう少し頑張ってみろよダメ諦めたら周りのことを思えよ応援してる人たちのことを思ってみろって絶対やってみろ必ず目標達成できるだからこそネバギバ
Yes! I literally made a macro on this thing that opens a URL, launches it in a new browser, and then waits a moment, and then double clicks on the mouse to maximize it to full screen. I could have rickrolled you, but I didn't, because I needed the inspiration to not give up here. I'm hoping to have a finished shot by the end of the day. That's my goal for today. But I might have to hit that button a few more times.
So working with this photo scan has been a bit troublesome. Progress has been slow, but we're working through it. 3D scans have just inherent problems that come with them. Like when you try to scan hair, it doesn't really work. It comes in a solid object, and when you try to render that out, it just looks like somebody has a lump of sculpted clay that's painted to look like hair. And so what you have to do is I took the scan of Ren and I smoothed it out a little bit with a sculpting brush, and then I actually had to smooth over his hair completely and then pat it down into the form of a head. And so now I have this really weird looking model of Ren where he has a smooth over head that's definitely not his head shape. Anyways, for the hair, I used Blender's hair system, and I actually grew out the hair so it looks like one big straight afro, and then I had to ask Ren how he styles his hair, because I have to take this hair pointing in all directions and actually style it to look like Ren's hair. And so in Blender I had to go through with the comb tool, literally, and give him a little haircut. Once I was done with the big hair on the top of his head, I had to add the little tiny hairs, some stubble on his lip and his jawline. I added back in some eyebrows, because, you know, any hair you scan in just is not usable. You gotta create new hair for your skin. And then after that I added some skin texture, because there are certain properties in CGI that make it look realistic, and you use what are called bump maps and reflection maps in 3D models, which are basically images that tell the computer which parts of the model should be shiny and which parts of the model should be bumpy, and with a 3D scan you don't get any of that inherently. So you have to make that stuff from scratch. And so basically I had to kind of like paint where the oil would be on his face a little bit, and I had to add some micro bumps for the skin, and that helped a little bit, catching the light and making the skin look a little bit more real. And the last element, that is the cherry on top, is subsurface scattering. That's the thing where you take a flashlight and you shine it through your hands or the back of your ear, and you see the red and the light coming through. It's basically just light entering a surface and scattering around and coming out the other side. And so that's what I added to the face, so the skin doesn't look just like complete plastic. You know, you get some of the light bleeding in. As for the actual distortion of the face going through the bars, I tried something different, which I've never actually tried before. I used a lattice object. It's basically a giant cage, which you bind to your mesh, which is inside of it. And then when you move a part of the cage, it moves the part of the mesh that's closest to that part of the cage. I just went through the sequence, animating these, having it bounce back and jiggle a little bit. That was animated manually. The cool thing about doing it in CG is that you really get the accurate look of the light penetrating the hair and the hair bending around the bars. The downside to this is getting a likeness of a person is very difficult. I would be staring at my computer screen, I'd be like, yeah, this looks pretty good. And then I would look over at Ren and be like, God damn it, this doesn't look like him at all. And so I just spent a lot of time dialing in that look. But besides that, I'm very happy with how it turned out, and I think it looks pretty sweet.
Okay, we have finished our visual effects shots here. We have finished our pieces to varying levels of quality.
Yeah, it was surprisingly challenging. You'd think that having all this modern tech, it would make it really straightforward, but I guess that's never the case.
It was still very hard.
Yeah.
All right, so let's go ahead and look at the actual morph shot that I made last night at 2 a.m.
Damn. Dude, this is the way to do it.
You think so?
Yeah.
So what are your first thoughts when you see this?
This looks amazing. I mean, it's obviously you. A big problem I had with mine was that it looks like a weird Uncanny Valley version of Ren. I don't think if I was watching this as a viewer and it was part of a movie, I don't think it would faze me. The only thing that's kind of bugging me is you were saying like the keyframe stretching and stuff, it could be animated a little bit smoother, but it totally works.
I have not seen what you've made yet, and I'm very intrigued.
Yeah, this one I'm like simultaneously really happy with this, and also it's like kind of really weird.
Whoa! Oh my god, this has your classic style written all over it.
So I'm really happy with everything in this except your likeness. For starters, it's really hard to create an exact 3D replica of somebody. Like friggin' Star Wars couldn't even do it. It's really tough.
Yeah.
And the problem I was having was that this mesh that I got of your head was so incredibly high resolution that I couldn't even work with it. I had to down res it a little bit, and that caused some artifacts around your eyes.
It looks like there's a bit of like a geometry bump right over my right bottom eyelid there. So there's a few things that you've done here that really elevated the shot from the original that I didn't do. First, you added some camera motion. The camera's actually pushing in a little bit over the course of the shot. shot. You added some character movement to me, like my eyes are moving, my head's moving a little bit, and on top of that, the actual distortion has ripples to it.
That was tough. It definitely came down to a lot of fidgeting with the animation and the keyframes. It's all keyframed.
The fact that you literally made the hair from scratch is like so high level, and you can really see it there as the hair like literally like bends around, like parting of the winds. That is something neither I or ILM were able to do.
Totally, and it's like this method is far from perfect, but I think that's one aspect that would play into the perfect way to do this.
What would we do differently to combine our powers?
In my opinion, I think we would do it full CG except for the face. For the face, we would use your method, which is the projection mapping onto the face. So then you don't have any weird likeness issues, but you can still get the hair and the simulation and all the nice new technology that we have to use.
So has this given you a bigger appreciation for what they did back in the day?
Definitely. I still have
I'm clearly not the boss here. But with the DQ sauced and tossed chicken strip basket, I'm the sauce boss. I'm clearly not the boss here. But with the DQ sauced and tossed chicken strip basket, I'm the sauce boss. It's my choice of honey barbecue, spicy sweet glazed made with
Test, test, test. That's not good. Test, test. Oh, all right. Don't want to.
I'm clearly. I'm clearly not the boss here. But with the DQ sauced and tossed chicken strip basket, I'm the sauce boss. It's my choice of honey barbecue, spicy sweet glazed made with...
Hey, Tom, how's it going?
Hey, Patrick, good. How are you?
I'm good. So, is it cool if I connect with you guys on Source Connect?
Yeah, for sure.
All right, cool. And it's Lime Studios A.
It's not. Give me 1 second. Let me see where I am.
Okay.
It'll be Lime_Studios_B. Just logging in right now.
Yeah, cool. Oh. Sorry about that. Okay. Sweet. Yep. Is Brian in the studio? Okay, cool. No. I'll play back what he did before. Basically, we're doing ADR. We're just gonna match back what he did before. All right, cool. Sounds good, man. Hey, what's up, Joe?
Hey, Patrick, what's up, man?
Not much. It's been a little while.
I know. Good to see you.
Good to see you. You're always too busy.
Good to see you. It's like you're at the Evo on 39th Street.
Evo on 39th Street. So yeah, we actually ended up selling the 37th or the Broadway location.
Okay.
Yeah. So I moved into John's studio, and John built himself kind of a spaceship in the back.
Did he really? I got to get over there now that I don't know if you guys are welcoming.
Yeah, we are.
Guests or not?
We are.
But, okay.
We're doing some renovations, so we're gonna keep everything on the exterior the same, but we're remodeling the interior. So all of Scribe's awesome artwork's gonna have to go. And we're gonna redo the floors. It's sad, but yeah, we kept getting comments like it looks like this is out of an apartment from the Friends sitcom or something because of the decor. Because it was, you know,
dude, I love it.
I know it's kind of retro.
I feel like it's coming back too, like.
The 90s thing?
Yeah, the 90s thing. Like, man. But anyway, did you ever go over to Sub K?
I never did. Yeah, they were just kind of like declining as I was just started my career.
Okay, so their space over they had a big building over by KU Med Center, and it looked like because they like their heyday was like the late 80s.
Yeah,
late 80s, early 90s. So it was incredible in there. It looked like the Beetlejuice house when they remodeled it, or like the when Daryl Hannah remodels the apartment in
Yeah,
Wall
I know
Street.
totally what you're talking about. Yeah.
That's exactly what it looked like, and like I feel like there are probably places in Brooklyn that look like that now. Like,
You're probably right. Well, that's what was cool about Broadway. It was stuck in like that late 70s, early 80s, aesthetic with the orange. Everything was orange. And then all the wood. Cool. Oh man. Yeah, I'm going to miss that studio. Unfortunately, it's going to be turned into a salon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's good that you're all together.
It just makes sense, I mean, with Don going, and why have two buildings, when we have the space for us to be all over here. Yeah. But
dude, I haven't had a chance to catch up with you guys. I was so sorry to hear about that. And I heard about it like 2 months after, because my son was born in March.
I didn't know that. Congratulations.
Thanks, man. He was born in March 2020, and I was off the grid for a month.
Yeah. What a time to have a kid.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It was crazy.
Yeah.
It was really crazy.
Whew.
Yeah. How's your family doing?
Oh, doing really good. Yeah. So we're so blessed. Like my wife's parents watch our kids during the day, and so they're getting ready to go to school here at the end of the summer. It'll be the first time. So they're got a 5-year-old and a soon-to-be 4-year-old. So yeah, it's awesome. It's just so cool watching them grow up, and they're close enough in age where they're just like best friends now. Two little girls. So it's awesome.
Love that.
Yeah.
I love that, dude. That's great.
Like we got up this morning and like it's like 6:30 and they're dressing each other. I'm just like,
it's so good.
This is amazing.
That's so good. So my little guy's got a big brother. My son's turning 8 on Sunday.
Wow.
So I've got an 8-year-old and a 1-year-old.
Yeah,
so,
that's like my youngest sister.
Really?
That age gap. Yeah. Crazy.
So they've got their own kind of special relationship.
Yeah, I bet.
It's all good. And he just went back to school in person last week for like a month of summer school.
Okay.
He was virtual all year.
Yeah.
And we thought it'd be good for him to get like a month inside. That way it's a little easier for him in the fall.
Oh yeah, that transition.
And,
that makes sense.
The summer school program's like pretty, it's just kind of fun.
Exactly. As it should be. Yeah, man.
So, dude, it's been a wild one. So back in the office, and
you are back in the office?
Yeah, I'm back in the office a couple days a week and still working from home.
Okay.
Like do every other.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
You got to transition too. It's such a shock.
Exactly. It is.
It was like a shock that we all went home, and then it's a shock that we all have to go back. It's just so weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, my wife's kind of going through that right now.
Oh, really?
They want everybody back in the office, and they're kind of negotiating. Well, maybe we can do 2 days at home and 3 days in the office. And she had to bring her monitors back in the office. So it's just, it's weird. I can tell it's affecting her.
Oh man, I bet. But you probably went home for a little while, but
I was home for like maybe 3 months, and then I went back in the office because I was essentially working by myself.
Right.
Yeah. So it made sense.
Cool, man. Well, I'll have to pop over one of these days for
man.
A session. I don't know. I mean, for sure.
I think we're gonna do like some kind of like happy hour to celebrate Dawn here in the future after we get renovations and stuff done. So probably late August, September, something like that.
Cool.
So that could be an opportunity there.
I'll be there.
Yeah, cool, man.
I'll be there. Hopefully, I get by before then.
Yeah.
Then.
Right now things are a little bit, a lot of holes in the wall. As we rip stuff out.
I'd love to see it.
Yeah. So I've been taking pictures to kind of track the progress. It's going to be cool.
Cool.
But we got to compete with these young studios, up and coming guys. They've got tons of coffee machines and everything. And personal chefs.
Oh, geez. I don't know.
It's ridiculous.
Just go where the best engineers are.
That's right. See?
That's what I do.
I like that. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
So
we have talent?
We're still waiting for Brian to arrive.
Okay.
Sweet. Yeah. So we're just sitting tight.
Okay, cool.
So, yeah.
Cool.
And is Damon going to hop on? Anyone else?
I don't know if we have Damon or not.
Okay.
Just messaging him right now. I don't know if we're gonna have David or not. I don't even have a script, man. Do you have a script?
I do have a script. I can send it to you.
Okay, that'd be great because then it's just we're just doing one line.
One
right?
line.
Just to
Yep.
pick up. Okay. I had a session with John about a month ago, and I noticed the background was different. I thought he was in his space that had been remodeled, but is he back in like Brian's?
So
old
yeah,
place, and is Brian and Don's?
And Brian moved to Don's, exactly.
Okay.
So he
Okay.
basically tore everything out of Brian's and put in a vocal booth. He rebuilt the vocal booth and kind of put the LED lighting all over everything and kind of like handcrafted some art made from old tape dupe machines and kind of put that all over the walls. It's cool. It kind of looks like a spaceship to me. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And I don't know if you've been to Bark Sky Recording with Jim Schrader. It's kind of set up similar to his studio over there, where you kind of walk.
I have not worked
Okay.
with him in a long time. I last time I worked with him was when he was underneath.
19 Below, Michael Smith's. Yeah.
Yeah, it was under Michael Smith. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a cool space.
That was a cool space.
But yeah, it's like you walk in and front, and then it's just like basically his studio is like right there. It's the control, his desk and the big TV and the couch just to the side. It looks really cool.
That's cool.
You'll be impressed. All right, cool. Now you got to impress us. Hey. That's right, man.
Heck yeah, dude. How's it going? Good, doing great. Just catching up.
So yeah, so Brian, I think it was 2019's the last time we updated this. So basically, we're going to be trying to match your on-picture audio. And you did a great job last time. I mean, you nailed it. It was seamless. So yeah, so let's. We just want to kind of do the same thing. Kind of get you into that headspace that you were in. You were kind of relaxed. I knew you were sitting down. If you helpful, I'll play for you your original read.
That'd be great.
Yeah, and then I might just kind of keep playing for you those reads because I think that really helped you last time to kind of just keep exactly. Yeah.
Do we need to put some makeup on your face to get like really in character? Okay. We'll do it.
Cool. So yeah, man, I'll play for you the original audio. Then why don't we do 3 in a row of why don't you just do the whole thing just to kind of get you in character? So cool. Here it comes.
I'm clearly not the boss here, but with the DQ sauced and tossed chicken strip basket, I'm the sauce boss. It's my choice of honey barbecue, spicy sweet glaze made with.
So cut off there. So whenever you're ready. Yeah, great.
think tonally we're really close, man.
Yeah.
Could we do a series where maybe you put like puts me in charge of my chicken gravy?
So cool. Yeah. I mean, why don't we just pick up that line now? And I'm gonna play for you the full read again, just to kind of get you there. All right. So we take 2. Here it comes.
I'm clearly not the boss here, but with the DQ sauced and tossed chicken strip basket, I'm the sauce boss. It's my choice of honey barbecue, spicy sweet glazed made with Frank's Red Hot, and on juicy all white meat chicken strip.
Sorry. That's right. Actually, here, we'll keep this as take 2. Let me get a better spot for you. What would be more helpful for you? Do you just want me to get the
Sounds great. Patrick, did you say this is 2? You call this 2 ABC?
Let's take 2. Yeah, let's keep this. Keep this as take 2. All right, cool, man. It'll stop at Sauce Boss. I'm gonna do 3 in a row. Here it comes.
I'm clearly not the boss here, but with the DQ sauced and tossed chicken strip basket, I'm the sauce boss.
Do you have a favorite there, Joe?
I think I like 2A. 2A was pretty solid. I wonder if we could do another quick series where maybe you're just a little brighter. It's sounding a little serious at the moment.
Cool. Let's do the same thing. I'll play you up until Sauce Boss. Let's take 3.
I'm clearly not the boss here, but with the DQ sauced and tossed chicken strip basket, I'm the sauce boss.
Oh, dude, that was really good. That was really good. I like that third one, Patrick. Can we mark that?
Sure thing.
Can we try one more where you kind of, I like what you're doing with the me on that last one, but you're putting like a little bit of a break after puts me in charge, but maybe try like puts me in charge. If you could do me in charge in one group.
All right, same thing. Let's take 4.
I'm clearly not the boss here, but with the DQ sauced and tossed chicken strip basket, I'm the sauce boss.
Yeah, man, those last 2 are great. Very good. Can we try one of those against picture, Patrick? Or
Yeah,
just
sure
drop
thing.
it in, make sure it fits for like I don't know if you could drop it. It doesn't have to be against picture, but
Yeah.
you just hear it.
One of the last
time it
2.
out, okay? Yeah. And I also liked 2A.
2A, yeah. And I had 3C marked as well.
Cool.
Let me try 4B.
Okay. It's funny that you're at Lime, dude. I just saw a producer downstairs wearing a Lime shirt, and we were just talking about being on site there. Yeah, so I'm sure. Yeah.
So obviously it's gonna need a little EQ and some room around it, but it's fitting pretty well. Let me play it for you. Here comes.
I'm clearly not the boss here, but with the DQ sauced and tossed chicken strip basket, I'm the sauce boss. This sweet honey barbecue glaze puts me in charge of my chicken cravings.
Eyes closed.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
DQ. Happy tastes good.
Was that 4B?
That was 4B.
Can you play that one more time, bud?
Sure.
I'm clearly not the boss here, but with the DQ sauced and tossed chicken strip basket, I'm the sauce boss. This sweet honey barbecue glaze puts me in charge of my chicken cravings.
Eyes closed.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
DQ. Happy tastes good.
So you're saying like the EQ we could work on like matching a little bit closer?
Exactly. Yeah, with some room, room reverb. That's what I had to do last time to get it to match.
Cool.
I can get it pretty close. Close enough to where, with the ambience in the room and everything, I think it'll be all right. Plus, it's on a transition, so our ears are kind of used to tonal shifts in voice when we make cuts, so that helps too. Looks like Damon wants to join.
What's up, Damon?
Hey, what's up? Sorry, I just got brought in on something else at the same time.
You better be sorry. You better be sorry.
I know Brian needs me to coach him, so I'm sorry I'm late. He's got
Yeah, I mean it's not going well. It's not going well. We might need. We're gonna have to reshoot. We got to reshoot this thing. No, dude. We're gonna re-edit. Let's get the girl in the booth. Dude, no, we're close. We're just gonna. Patrick just played one against, not against picture, but just dropped a take in for us against audio. It's sounding really good from a tonal standpoint. He's gonna do some work to match our room tone and stuff.
Cool.
I think we've gotten to the point where I think we just do one last set where you really romance sweet honey barbecue glaze, and then we'll be done.
And Brian, do you know if you've, or Joe, maybe have we recorded any alt lines on this before? Or have we just moved stuff around that we had the very first time?
We recorded alt lines in 2019, so we did something very similar to this. Yeah.
And it was pretty easy to match up that.
I mean, it took a little work, but I was able to get it pretty close.
Well, I don't guess I knew it, and I think I've done those spots, so I guess it worked out fine.
Yeah.
Cool.
We've really worked some magic on this one. There's the chicken strip version and the blizzard version. Yeah, man. I think we're.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, Brian, for this one, if you wouldn't mind, maybe just back up a foot or so, just so maybe I can. It might help just a little bit to get some room on the voice. Yeah, thank you. All right, so cool. I'll play for you the up until Sauce Boss, and yeah, let's do 3 more. All right, let's take 5.
I'm clearly not the boss here, but with the DQ sauced and tossed chicken strip basket, I'm the sauce boss.
It's a good range.
Yeah, sweet. I like the beat a lot. Do you think stepping back from the mic helped, Patrick?
It did. You can hear a few reflections in there. I mean that mic is so directional. It didn't really do that much, but every little bit helps.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll play around with it.
Okay. So you all right. You dropped the 4B in there. Can I hear that 2C really quick before we go? Was that the
Yeah,
other one
absolutely.
we marked?
Sure thing. Give me a second.
What year's that Telecaster back there?
I got that when I was still in high school, so it'd be like a 96, I think is what it is.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Sweet. Is
It's
it
an oldie.
American?
It's American, yeah. So I was working at a music store when I got it, so I got it for cost, which was like $600.
Cool.
Yeah, it's sweet. I love that guitar. It was like my first real guitar.
It's a good one.
All right, here it comes. 2B or 2C. Wait, was it 2B or 2C?
C.
C, that's right.
4B, 2C.
That's right. Thank you.
I'm clearly not the boss here, but with the DQ sauced and tossed chicken strip basket, I'm the sauce boss.
This sweet honey barbecue glaze puts me in charge of my chicken cravings.
Eyes closed.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
DQ. Happy tastes good.
Man, I like that a lot too.
Yeah, that one's good. I think I like 4B a little bit better, and then we can try maybe that from that last series.
Okay.
One of
Actually,
those,
do you want me to send all three out as options?
Yeah, that'd be
Okay.
great. Yeah.
Why don't I do that? I think that makes the most sense. 2B and 4. 2C, 4B, yeah. All right. Cool. All right, you feeling good?
Yeah, I'm feeling good.
All right.
How about you, Damon?
Right as rain, buddy.
Okay. Cool.
All right, cool.
Brian, we'll keep making you this mailbox money on this baby. We're going on like 3 years. Easiest money there is. We appreciate you. Thanks a lot. Thanks. At least I know you're a busy fella.
Thanks,
Patrick,
man.
yeah, just shoot us that whenever you get a chance.
Okay.
And, we'll go.
Awesome, man. I'll shoot you out some quick times.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Cool. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Tom.
Tom. Later.
Bye.
This sweet honey barbecue glaze puts me in charge of my chicken cravings. This sweet honey barbecue